Hello, it's super late at night. Um, okay, so I just shot a video of me going, I'm tired, and not having anything to talk about, and then I realized I do have something to talk about, so I just deleted that video and made a new one. Bam. So I'm leaving for the next couple of days to go on a boat trip, which means I won't have any time to work on a costume unless I'm confused about which weekend it's happening on. Is it happening on the 10th to the 11th or the 17th to the 18th? Because I'll have to borrow costumes, and I have a couple of costumes I can borrow from my mom and my sister. Okay, so that's that. Also, I found a really cool blog on a TED Talk that's called The Lucky So-and-So, and I will post a link below. That's a girl who only buys things from thrift stores, which is super awesome, and about reducing waste and finding interesting things that have had former lives, and her outfits are all really bright and colorful and happy, and yeah, she's very inner child, outer child, you know. And TED Talks also reminds me of an other interesting issue that I would like to address, because Temple Grandin, who's in, I'm not totally sure what she does for a living, but she had a really great TED Talk about how we all need different kinds of minds, or else there wouldn't be any breakthroughs in science and engineering. And she's autistic, and she never really developed social skills all the way. And so she's a very interesting person to watch talk, because she doesn't, I have autistic people in my family, so it's interesting to see her, because she's out on the stage and she's talking as I've seen those people in my family talk to me, and there's no difference. And it's very interesting, because usually when you see somebody perform on stage, then they're talking in a very different way than they would be if it was one-on-one. But she's a really interesting person, and she talked about how we all need different kinds of minds. And that's an interesting point to address, and how, curriculum is taking, or curriculum for the state is taking all of the, working with your hands, like art and woodworking classes out, which reminds me, my parents, when they went to high school, the girls all had to take home ec, which was cooking and sewing, and the guys all had to take metalworking and woodworking, which was horribly sexist. But I like the basic idea that you have a thing that you learn that you use later in life, even though it's incredibly sexist. Utah. And yeah, this is a good point, because I've taken 2 art classes, but they were more based around theory than actual developing skills, And I think that's definitely something that we should learn. But also that the curriculum shouldn't just be based around, or built so that kids who are good at taking tests and learning for tests succeed, and that people who are actually smart in the real world should maybe have better grades and stuff. Maybe. And so I would like to share some interesting facts. In Washington, we have the highest amount of money spent on state testing in a single year, which is about $100 million a single year, which is horrible. And there was a big controversy over a test this year called the MAP test, and I really, really love how teachers all, in the places where it was required, went, no. And mostly it was boycotted, because it was a test that was designed to assess how the teachers were teaching kids. That's nothing that our Miss B and His B can't do already, and it wasn't actually on the curriculum that was assigned by the state, so it was just completely random questions, and it wasn't assessing the students' knowledge or the teacher's ability to teach them, because it wasn't anything that had been taught. It was just random crap that they had dug. I don't even know why, and they spent millions of dollars on it, which is horrible, because I don't know. Also in Washington, we have this problem where we have the third largest, I believe it's either second or third largest class size, and it's shown that everything is better when you have a smaller class, because you get more intimate help from teachers and more conducive to learning and less loud. And even in our extremely privileged school district, and it is extremely privileged, um, every class has about 30 students in it, and the prime number of students is about 20 to 25. So, like, what do our schools look like once you get out of our privileged, as my stepfamily likes to call it, the twilight zone? Because everybody is so rich. And then once you get out of that, it's like real world. Yeah. Come on, school district. Also, somebody on the school board doesn't even have their college diploma and voting. There's also Good Space Guy, who's run for the last couple years. Like any position that's open in our state government, his name is Good Space Guy. His job qualifications are Good Space Guy. He went to the school called Good Space Guy. He's a nut job. Anyways, I'm going to leave you over my time limit with this beautiful picture of my wall of nerdy. And good night. And to be continued.